You guys remember the story from February 21st when this just a monstrous act happened. Like, this harmless youth was just in the classroom trying to play his Nintendo Switch when this would-be thief finally got her come up. No, I'm totally joking when it comes to this situation. We actually have a pretty decent resolution on this, and guess what? Our 17-year-old youth who has a rap sheet a mile long, stop me if you've heard this one before, is facing some serious prison time because, well, hey man, totally 1000% justifiable. I'm overwhelmed with the idea of the long fight ahead. Traumatized teacher's aide, brutally beaten by the 270-pound student. Yeah, that's totally 1000% a fair description of events. She was tackled to the ground by this unhinged lunatic, call it exactly what it is, and kicked and punched and beat about the head and body at least 15, 16, 17 times. And it gets even, wait, what? It gets worse than that? Holy, I should have read the headline, but I had a joke already pre-planned, so don't even need to get facts. Come on. Reveals she did not take the Switch away from the boy, as she thanks the public for the $60,000 in donations. Hey, shout out. Like, what's the injuries? Because I didn't know about any of that stuff beforehand. Traumatized teacher's aide, who was brutally beaten by a 270-pound student, said that she was overwhelmed by the support and denies having taken a game console from the pupil. It's like, why is that even a sentence that you have to say? You're in a classroom, and if a Nintendo Switch comes up, that would have been confiscated toot sweet. Like, back when I was in school, like, we had Game Boy Advances, but that and, you know, flip phones were just coming out, where you could do tactile text messaging, or you had the actual buttons. You'd press it 3 times, you could have a T that's down there. Everybody got so good where they could just kind of text underneath their desk, pay attention to things, and still have the sentence text out relatively accurately. I'm old as the hills, so don't worry about it. I'm getting older here very, very shortly. The ninth. Anyways, Brendan Depa, 17, is facing an aggravated battery charge, a felony. Round of applause to go along with the other felonies that he's been charged with before, because guess what? Surprise! Actually, it's not. After he allegedly attacked Joan Naydich, 57, retarded me, and Matanzas High School, at Matanzas High School on February 21st. The teenager told the police that Naydich, a teaching assistant at the school, had taken his Nintendo Switch from him, which caused the outburst. How is that justification at all to begin with? She took my Switch. Motherfucker, you were in class. I was like, well, she took it though. And it was like, so if she took it and kept it on her person, your immediate response is to go tackle her to the ground, risking the viability of your Switch in the aftermath. Makes sense. But now Naydich has denied doing so, saying that it was misinformation and that she wanted to set the record straight. Yo, the hulking 6'6". Come on. Well, 6'6", 270 is a problem. I'm 6'6", 215. I could close the distance pretty quickly. I guess that's the difference. I still wouldn't want to take that motherfucker on without a taser or mace, at least. Holy. Yeah, he was caught on camera viciously beating the humble mother of 2 until she was unconscious. Well, life is kind of kicking her ass because, well, she is a single mother after all. Anyways. Depa can be named at the 7th Judicial Court on Florida. Ruled that it would be transferred to adult court and is currently being held on $1 million bond according to court documents. Shout out for that one. And why is it $1 million? Because he has priors. 17 years old. Oh, but he's got the mental disabilities. It's like, yeah, we know. He's got priors at the age of 17. Come on now. Naydich has spoken up for the first time following the incident, commenting on the GoFundMe, which was set up to support her. Like, what's that out right now? Because this article's about a day or so old at this point in time, so we can just check here in a second. The page has raised nearly $60,000, and the teaching aide has said she has been overwhelmed with the idea of the long fight ahead, and the contributions are lessening that burden, and I'm truly grateful. What is she at right now? 72.5 USD. Holy, congratulations, man. Totally deserved, by the way, because, well, you weren't doing anything cross, to be completely honest. Like, I like to hear her side of the story because we've heard from the 17-year-old with sideburns. And his recantation of events isn't exactly all that compelling. I'm hopeful that the awareness of this incident being spread far and wide will prevent anyone else from ever dealing with the trauma, physical healing, and disruption of everyday life that this has caused. Yeah, we see those security cam footages from people all over the side of the road, and they're very, very similar type of a situation, if you know what I mean. It's touching to know that so many care. Certainly wasn't how I saw my son's senior year turning out for my family. Depa is seen knocking Naydich to the ground before kicking and punching an unconscious woman at least 15 times to the back and the head. Yeah, you got her the first time when she face planted and skidded. Like, she was out cold, dude. You accomplished it. And even if your defense in this situation was you were trying to retrieve stolen property, the additional 15 strikes probably, took that whole defending your property just completely out of pocket. Those convicted of aggravated battery of the school board official in Florida can face up to 30 years in jail for the first-degree felony. Yeah, you wouldn't have got that if it wasn't for those additional 15 strikes. Depa has also been ordered not to contact the teaching assistant by the court and will appear for his arraignment on March 6th. Well, yeah, of course he won't be contacting her. He's up on $1 million bond, or bail, sorry. Documents seen by the Daily Mail show that Depa was charged with battery 3 times in 2019 before his attack this month. Who's shocked by that? Who's shocked? Absolutely nobody. Previously completed the Aide Department of Juvenile Justice program. He's got mental problems. No, he's a fucking serial assaultist. Likely to do worse. Come on now. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley supported the decision to charge him as an adult in the latest incident. Naydich also wanted to address allegations that she took his game away from him, adding, for all of you keyboard warriors, I just want to set the record straight. I never took this switch from him. So what prompted this? Or was it just legitimately a stage... Yeah, fuck it, I'll say it. Legitimately a stage 4 chimp out. Like, what are we dealing with here? For anyone that's read or heard differently, I've been told this was unfortunately misinformation. As the process continues, there will be many updates along the way. Your thoughts and prayers throughout all of this are appreciated more than you know. According to the state's attorney's office, Depa did actually and intentionally touch or strike the victim against his or her will. Yeah, I don't think that situation like that is... You've seen a quick screenshot of it, or at least just a little bit of the video play. YouTube's big gay when it comes to showing any of that stuff, even as there is a lack of blood or anything like that. If I show it and play it back in slow motion, maybe put Benny Hill music over the top of it, they would consider that glorifying violence, but I just call it a good laugh. But yeah, because he's being charged with aggravated battery, standard is, yes, actually or intentionally touching, striking the victim against his or her will, and in doing so used a deadly weapon and or intentionally or knowingly caused great bodily harm, permanent disability, or permanent disfigurement. Yeah, if nobody would have intervened, what was stopping him from caving her skull in? Let's be completely honest. She's a 54-year-old woman. He is 6.5 feet tall, 270 pounds, 17 years old, and full of spur rage. Sheriff Staley said the student is just 6 months shy of 18. And it was also a brutal attack. Yeah, this wasn't a hip check in the aisle or anything like that. Nobody got pushed into the lockers. She got pushed very, very hard into the ground. Could have been a homicide we're talking about. Yeah. If that would have happened on the street, if there was a curb in the vicinity, very much could have been the case. Naydich has since been released from hospital and is recovering at home following the savage beating. Yeah, not like I'm looking for it, but what are the injuries? Okay, the son who attends the high school and the daughter who graduated in 2013. Naydich has worked for Flagler County since 2004, at Matanzas since 2021. Surveillance footage released shows the hulking, kid, whatever. We've already seen all of this stuff. Body cam footage. The student can be asking the officer if he's going to jail, whether they handcuffed him in the school, for how long. The student asked, I don't know, the officer replied, and moments later he told officers, fuck you, I don't want to go to jail. I have more important things to do. Well, now you're going to have a lot of time to think about it. Up to 30 years, in fact. According to Fox, there used to be a school dedicated for troubled teens in Flagler County for pupils who struggled to function in traditional classroom environments. I think our boy kind of fits the bill on that one. That includes those who have been convicted of a crime or were considered too violent to attend classes or traditional campuses. Oh, that's what that was about, because it was reported alongside that, yeah, she stole the switch and all that stuff, that this was for kids with special needs. Those are the special needs. Violent felons. Interesting. Let's just go over. Maybe the GoFundMe has the proper. It doesn't have anything about the injury sustained or anything like that. It's just couple of well wishes and stuff like that. But yeah, man, yeah, if we get any more information on motive, injuries, court date, obviously, yeah, on the 6th to be arraigned. But I'll be following up on this because, well, it's just pretty disgusting to see something like that. Like, I don't know either of these people. I don't have a particular love for public school teachers or anything like that, but I also don't like to see people get their head caved in by some unhinged monster. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.